Hey everyone, welcome back to the APEX interview series. If you haven't seen us before, I'm Tim Britton, the head of community here for the APEX UK Challenge. And this is an opportunity and a platform where we're meeting our competitors, we're meeting our challengers, we're allowing our community to come forward and tell their stories, tell about the charities that they're trying to raise money for, and basically just bring our communities together. But today is a little bit different. We've got something a little bit special in store, because we are going to be joined by the co-founder, Adam Clayton, which is going to be super exciting. But we're going to try and take a little bit more of a deeper dive into Adam's backstory, find out kind of where he's come from, where the APEX Challenge actually originated from and the ideas for it, and just get to know Adam a little bit more as our kind of head chief, we should say, really. You'll get the chief pun later on. But anyway, so let's bring Adam in. Let's just check his mic and everything's working. Adam, how are you? All right, mate?
Tim, very well, thank you. How about yourself, sir? You good?
I'm good. I'm all good. And I love it when the technology works. As you know, we've had technical issues plenty of times before. But
yeah, I'm not too tech savvy, so I'm glad we're here. Everything's working. We're good to go.
We are. Okay. So first of all, thank you so much, because I know you are incredibly busy, because I know APEX is just one of several things that you do, including your busy family life that you have going on, which I know kept you up late last night as well. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to jump in for the community.
That's all right. Pleasure to be here, Tim.
Okay. All right. So what we won't waste any time. We're going to dive straight in. So I think the first thing is, a lot of people might not know too much of kind of your history and your backstory. So that's, I think, where I really want to start with, because they might think that you're just this incredibly keen businessman. They might think that you've got this events background, but actually you started your career as a professional rugby player, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, how did that all come about? How did you get into becoming a professional rugby player, and where did it kind of start and take off from?
Yeah, so that was back at school, really. I'm just trying to think how long ago that was. I'm now 36, so talking quite a long time ago now. Yeah, so I found my love for rugby back at school. I went to a boarding school up in Somerset for Milford. It was quite renowned for rugby. So I worked my way, I fell in love probably at the age of kind of 10, 11. I think I started finding my feet a little bit within rugby. I was never a natural kind of talented, gifted rugby player. I always had to work hard. I was very determined at that and work hard to get into the A team and kind of work my way through it. So that's kind of how it started. Really, I got into the A team, got into the first team there. I played 2 years in the first team, and then I got picked up by Bath. So that's where my rugby career started, and I signed for Bath when I left school at 18.
I'm not going to lie, that does cut me a little bit deep. Being a true Leicester fan, it just hurts. It just hurts that you went to Bath, but I understand why. One of my other friends will be dearly happy. Okay, so you started your career with Bath, and then I know you had, you played for a couple of different clubs throughout your professional career. But it's rugby, for anyone who maybe isn't an avid rugby fan, it's not only an incredibly physically taxing game on the body. So obviously you're training ridiculously hard on and off the pitch for all the skill set to play the game, but then you're training off the pitch to make sure that physically your body can tackle the rigors of what it needs to go through the game. But it's also incredibly mentally challenging with how fast paced the game is, and kind of observing what the teams are trying to do and making split second decisions. So I suppose in your professional career, you must have kind of had some sort of setbacks, or you must have had to try to overcome, not necessarily failures, but maybe like difficult moments, I suppose, within the game. Can you recall kind of any particular kind of experiences within your sporting career that you really had to kind of dig deep to try to deal with?
Yeah, I guess taking a step back. So I more in my career, I started at Bath, had a season at Bath, and then it came to the end of the season at Bath. I had another year on my academy contract. And at that point, they were getting rid of, I think, about 7 academy players. Luckily, and they were just gone. Their contracts were cut, and they were gone. I was one of the ones that they wanted to keep, but my contract got cut by 50%. So, and I wasn't getting paid a lot of money at all then as an 18-year-old boy fresh out of school.
Yeah.
So I made the decision then to go, because that was like one of the kind of, I guess, the first things that one of the first experiences I had as a rugby player is like, okay, this could finish any time. they've just cut my contract by 50%. I'm now looking for another club because I wasn't happy with that. So anyway, I went down to Exeter, had a season down at Exeter. Again, I got to the Chiefs, and they said to me, "Look, you're 10 kg lighter than you need to be." So I was like, "Okay, so what do we do? So what do I need to do to kind of put on 10 kilograms, and then I can start beginning in the team?" You know, that's what they said to me. So I was basically locked in the gym for 12 months. I didn't leave the gym. I was kind of eating as much as I could, bulking as much as I could, holding the tackle shield out for the first team, and then just lived in the gym. So, and at the end of the season, I managed to put on the weight, and I got strong and powerful, which they said. But still, it didn't quite fit. I didn't fit with the club. So that was another kind of hard thing to understand as a player. I've now left 2 clubs at the age of kind of 20. I then had a phone call from a championship club, Birmingham Solihull Bees, and that's when I really started to find my feet. So I dropped down a level into the championship, and had 3 years at Bees. Loved my time there. The first season was a little, took my time finding my feet. And then the second and third season, you know, I was starting. I was one of the kind of the key players, the key foundations of the squad. At the end of my 3rd year at Bees, I was ready to kind of move on to a better club within the championship, trying to get myself back up to the Premiership. I hadn't signed a contract. I had a few offers on the table. And at the end of the season, before I'd signed the contract, I went to play. I played a lot of sevens. So I went to play in the Kinsale Sevens tournament. And I just come off the back of a very tough season, played every game. And my body kind of was tired, I think. So I got out to Ireland on the day before the tournament, just on the warm-up. We just went out for a bit of a team run. I ran onto the pitch, just sidestepped, trying to get my body kind of ready to go and start training. And I just snap. And I just hit the deck. It was like I've been shot. It was like a sniper got me. And I'd never really suffered any serious injuries up until that point, after kind of 5-6 years as a rugby player. But I knew it wasn't right. So I ended up staying for the tournament and just kind of running on the water and doing what I could for the 2 days. Got back to England, went straight in to see the surgeon, and he confirmed that I ruptured my ACL and tore my meniscus. So it was a full-blown kind of reconstructure. And like I said, I hadn't signed a contract. So, and no one's going to then want to play with kind of 9 to 12 months going to be locked in the physio room. So that did end up being a career-ending injury for me. So that was probably the toughest, I guess, time as a rugby player. Going back to your question of setbacks, or it's a physical sport, but you know, it kind of, for me, I look at it as like, you play rugby, it's a physical sport, injuries going to happen. So you always have to put a positive kind of spin on that. Unfortunately, professional rugby, playing in the Premiership, playing for England, wasn't eventually the path for me. And everything happens for a reason. It just wasn't for this life anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I hear that story, and I take from it that it must have developed such a tremendous amount of resilience within you, having left one club to go to another club, be told something which set you back to go, okay, now I've got to do this work. Fine, I'm prepared to do it. I lay down the work, and then still that club isn't quite right. So you go, okay, I'll find the next place. I'll find somewhere where I fit. You find the place you fit. Eventually, you start to find your stride. You're like, okay, this is paying off for me. And then something else comes. You go, what do I do now? I've now got to, I'm set back again. I've gone down the snake, and I've now got to climb my way back up those ladders. But it's you, when anyone who meets you, you are not a person that ever comes across like you're gonna let anything hold you back. You come across like a person that really has developed resilience. And you look at something and go, okay, it's a problem. How can I fix that problem? How can I change that problem? How can I work through that problem? Which is, I suppose, why you always try to turn those negatives to a positive and find the good in something. So, when your kind of rugby career finished, how did you? Because if we kind of skim forward a bit in your career, I know that you kind of went into the events-based sort of world, and I know that you've been part of a lot of other sort of charity events and things like that you've helped organise and put together and things like that. So how did you make that shift from a professional sportsman into the careers that you're now kind of in at the present day?
Yeah, exactly. So I guess after the injury, I had in my head, I was still I wanted to get myself fit playing again. So I kind of took the following 9 to 12 months, basically full-time physio, and was just getting a lot of rehab, a lot of training, and I was just doing part-time work on the side to pay the bills, and as we'll have to do. And that was a bit of that was anything I get my hands on, to be honest, while I was still going into see a physio every day from where I was living. I got myself into a position where I was trying to get back into a club. So I basically got thrown a lifeline, really. I had a very good game against Cornish Pirates when I was playing for Bees. I had a good friend of mine there, and I rang and said, "Look, I'm trying to get myself back into rugby. Can I come down on a trial?" And he spoke to the coach, and the coach said, "Yeah, great, bring him down." I had a 4-week trial just to make sure my knee was okay. I had a medical, and everything was kind of fine. And then I got thrown a lifeline. I got offered a contract, so I was kind of back in to professional rugby after 9 to 12 months out. So which is fantastic. I then spent the next 6 to 7 months training with the Pirates, as a player, trying to get myself fit, trying to get myself into the team. Eventually got myself onto I was having a lot of setbacks with ongoing hamstring injury because they took a hamstring graft and reconstructed my knee. So I was having a lot of issues with that. But anyway, eventually I got named to play on the Saturday. So it's going to be on my debut for the Pirates. I'm really excited, buzzing for it. On the team run on the Thursday, I ruptured my hamstring again, and it just popped. And this was like the 7th time I'd done it. So I was at that point I kind of realized that there was no coming back. And on the Friday morning, I went into the club, see the club doctor. They kind of said the worst. I had to go down and see the surgeon. I then got called into the see the director of rugby and the club owner. And I knew at that point it was kind of ended for me. So that was in 2012. So I kind of I thought I had a lifeline. I got in there, and then unfortunately, it just wasn't supposed to be. I never got to put on the Pirate shirt, which I absolutely loved. But at that point, in 2012, this is kind of going into how I then got into events. So my father was running a few cycling events at the time. He was running a Great British Bike Ride, which is a cycling event from Land's End to Twickenham for the opening day of the Premiership. Premiership Rugby. So he was kind of doing that. So I was kind of watching him do that and learning a few things. And then a good friend of mine and my brother's, a guy called Tom Maynard, who was a professional cricketer. We went to school with Tom. He was in my brother's boarding house. I played rugby with Tom, who was in the year below me. Unfortunately, in 2012, he lost his life. He got caught up in an altercation, and he ran onto the train tracks at Wimbledon, unfortunately. So it was a big shock to our kind of friends and the school and everything. And he was playing for Surrey at the time, a great talent. And so at that point, we kind of decided what could we do to keep Tom's name alive? So we set up a scholarship program, sending an underprivileged kind of deserved sportsman back to Millfield, where we all met up and grew on 100% scholarship. And that's called the Tom Maynard Scholarship Program. Yes, that was incredible. We ended up doing that charity project. We ended up running that charity dinner and some other events to raise the funds, raise the money to send the kids to Millfield. We did that. It's still going now. We were involved for about 3, 4, 5 years, and now it's just kind of naturally progressed. And we sent a couple of kids to Millfield, and it was, it was a really kind of great thing to do, and what was kind of just a natural thing for us to do.
I mean, that from the again. No, I was going to say, I think again, it's just, I think these are all kind of wonderful testaments and attributes as to the kind of the character that you portray, knowing that, and I think this is a big thing that sport kind of teaches you always to give back to others, to other people, and to make sure that if you have the ability to try to do something, whether it be in someone's memory and you can further something for someone else, it's kind of that you're not obliged to do it, but it's a good thing to try and do it. And it's a great way that you started that, and it's fantastic that it's kind of evolved into something further that you could have now passed on to go, okay, it's now rolling and it's set off and it's still going to this day, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you said there, if you've got the ability, then why not? We had the ability. We got a good group of kind of friends around us. We kind of knew how to. We didn't really know how to run events, and actually, we just kind of got on with it, and we learned as we went along. But It was, yeah. So that was a really kind of the start, I guess. And then from that, I started falling in love with events, sports events, and got involved with more cycling events. And then my brother and I decided to form what is now Zoo Sports Group. And that's a different events company, kind of separate to Apex, but all falls under one, which you touched on earlier. And that was, about 13 years ago, I think. So I've been running events ever since.
and I mean, and these events, there's all different scales of these events and things, because and I know we were speaking about them at a meetup we had, and the Rugby World Cup, when there was an absolutely almighty cycling event that was organised by Zoo Sports to take the ball was travelling from. Was it up from Murrayfield? The ball was travelling for the Scottish game.
Exactly. Yeah, it went from Murrayfield over to the World Cup in Paris. Yeah.
And I mean, this is. Yeah, I suppose this kind of this nicely kind of starts to tie us into the endurance thing, because when we talk about the events world, it's not necessarily just a little quick day and we go for a little jog around the park or something like that. Some of these events are big, seriously tough, challenging events that have taken place, cycling all the way from Scotland all the way over to France, delivering the match ball and things like that. So I think we should probably try to move this into the real nitty-gritty of the Apex Challenge. So you've been doing all these events. Where did the idea and where did the kind of the initial kind of brainstorm for the Apex event come from?
Yeah, it's a good question. So yeah, like I said, we've been running multi-day cycling events, and we wanted to, I guess, launch something that had more of a community kind of real feel to it, and how we can not just put on B2B cycling events as what they are really, is how can we change and impact people's lives? How can we do that? That was kind of the messaging to start with. We then started looking at different sports. We knew hiking. We thought hiking would be a good kind of option. We saw a few people kind of doing these style of events, but nothing really to the scale that we wanted to take it in the UK. So that was how it really started. A conversation with my brother and I, and we was having a barbecue down at my parents' place in Devon, and that was kind of like how we started Apex is how can we create a community of like-minded individuals to impact as many lives as we can through hard work and challenging and putting that group of people together to go, right, we're going to go on a 48-hour hike. It's going to be really tough, but we know as a team we can do this, basically. And so there's a few more bits to it, but that was kind of the nuts and cracks of it.
I mean, it definitely is, because I mean, I when I first became part of the Apex Challenge, because my friend basically passed me the link onto Apex and said, "Have you seen this event?" And I clicked on the link and I started looking through it. No, but I'm well up for it. It seems amazing. This is brilliant. And at the time, as Adam knows, I had been going through a shift in my career, let's say, because of things that were out of my control. And I also just emailed saying, look, if you're ever wanting anyone to help out, I'd love to be part of it. And that's how I actually started to become part of the Apex team as well. And this challenge, it really is a challenge unlike anything other than around the world, because some of the other challenges where they say, oh, scaling the height, some of them you hike up and then you get a nice big rest. They ship you down in little cars and cable cars and things, so you don't have to worry about the hike down. But Apex is the full deal. It is hike up, hike down, if you can, 9.2 times the ascents of Helvellyn. So it's definitely going to be an almighty challenge, and the community is building bigger and bigger as every day. Is we know it is getting bigger, and everyone's getting more and more involved, which is fantastic, and we want more and more of this to start happening. So the concept of Apex, and obviously we're in the first year of it this year, and the event hasn't actually taken place. But do you have like a big overall grand idea as to where you'd like Apex to go? I mean, is this what we're thinking of with Apex? It's just going to stay here, or are you thinking of global domination with Apex?
Exactly. We do want to take this globally, and we've got Helvellyn next year. This year, sorry. And then we want to kind of launch it into other mountains in the UK next year, and then across Europe as well. So we do want to scale this into a kind of a global brand, but I guess what's more important to us is impacting lives. We've got to figure in our head that we want to impact 1 million lives, whether that being through our community, through kind of hard work, determination, or just getting people to believe that anything is possible. You know, anything, you know, you come to Hell Valley and you've got to climb it 9 times. People think, no chance, I'm not doing that. But you actually can. If you put your mind to it and you come around in that group of like-minded individuals, you can do that. But for us, this is an all-inclusive event. We're not saying you have to come and complete Hell Valley 9.2 times. You can come, and your Everest might be just to climb it once. You might have 5 stone to lose between now and September. We will help you on that journey, and you can come and climb it once. Next year, come and do it 2 or 3 times. And that's how we start impacting lives, I believe, anyway, is changing people's lives through the power of being outside, hard work, and challenging themselves. Just
as we're chatting, is there, because I'm lucky enough that I've got to meet you a few times and we speak regularly, and I just wonder if there's, because the way that you talk about changing lives and the passion that you speak out with wanting to help is so genuine, to want to help other people and to, I suppose, allow people the opportunity to realize they have so much more that they can offer. They have so much more that they can give. Is there anything that's ever kind of been like that catalyst for you that made you go, do you know what? I can achieve more than I believe, and that's made you then think, do you know what? I want to give this to other people. I want to help spread this message. I don't know. There might not be, but I was just wondering.
In terms of kind of what really kind of switched that brain of trying to or flip that switch of trying to help other people, or is it,
like I don't know, like for me, for example, I always remember that when I started to become a personal trainer, it wasn't because I wanted to get like myself in ridiculously good shape or anything. It wasn't because I wanted to make loads of cash. It was because I was sick and tired of friends and family around me, very close friends and family around me, saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm too big for this. And I was like, right, enough is enough. I want to make this change. And if you're feeling like this, I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that feel this way, and I want to make that. So for me, it was kind of a catalyst from my immediate friends and family that made me think I want to try to make these changes for other people. And we've spoken to quite a few members of our community, and we've got more and more coming in, and a lot of them have very touching kind of heartfelt stories where they're maybe starting to raise money for charities, and they're trying to do that because of either they've gone through a cancer themselves or they've lost a parent or something like that. So they're trying to raise money. And I was just wondering if there was ever anything that had maybe triggered that from you, or genuinely maybe this is just who you are, who you were meant to be.
I guess because I've had to have resilience in my life and I've had challenges, and then in 2019 when COVID hit and changed the world really for a lot of people, having an events business, we got hit hard, you know. So it was at that point in kind of 2019, I've been previous kind of five years to that, I've been doing a lot of work on self-development, self-help, and kind of improving myself to become a better person. So then when COVID hit, I guess I took, you know, you're seeing all these suicide rates go up, and especially within men, and men aren't communicating, men can't talk. So that was kind of and I was kind of doing a bit of work within that space during COVID while I could, when we were just at home, and I was having calls with friends and trying to put myself out there to see how I could potentially help people through the power of kind of sport and just coaching and having an open conversation. So I guess that's where I kind of started to develop that love of kind of trying to help and just be of service to as many people as I can, because we've got one shot at this life, and, you know, it should be enjoyable, it should be fun, and everyone should be kind of like just here to, you know, I know there's some stuff in the world that we have to take seriously, but, you know, it's like coming onto this call today. I want it to be fun, I want it to be enjoyable, I want to bring loads of energy, because we can't take things too seriously.
No, you can't. You never get out of life alive. That's the thing. We've got to have fun with it. We've got to enjoy it. And that's what everyone who we've been speaking to who has already signed up for, they're up for this challenge. They are so excited and so buzzing, and they want to help everyone out, and they're prepared for the camaraderie when they're up that mountain. So it's going to be epic. Okay, so I'm going to move this quickly along. So a couple of quick questions, sort of almost like quick questions, just to see if I can get some answers out of you. So do you have, personally yourself, do you have anything like daily routines, anything that you do every single day without fail to make sure, right, that keeps me sharp, keeps me focused, keeps me on track for the day?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk to you for hours about routine, but I know you want this to be quick fire. So for me, like, I guess a non-negotiable is I have to have exercise in my life. So, and that's daily. So I have to, that's probably first thing in the morning, whether it be a run or go down to the gym, just to make sure that that kind of the mindset is ready to take on the day, whatever the challenge is, whatever the day brings. Kind of, I'm physically ready for that. I've had my workout, and you just feel so much better after that. But yeah, routine kind of work.
Do you stick to that like workout at a particular time of day, or is it, I'll just, as long as I get it in, I'm good?
I would love to have a set time, but I can't because of having 3 kids and work and you know, things are busy. I can't have a set time at the moment. It's normally in the morning at some point. If I've got to take a few calls early, I'll then nip off to the gym, or at lunchtime, or in the evening if I have to. So that's one of the things I stick to. Routine, I always find, you know, your best routine is prepared the night before. So whether that being packing your bag in the evening so you're ready for the gym. I used to pack my rugby kit every night before I play. So every night before the game, I'll clean my boots and I'll pack my bag. So I was ready. So that nighttime routine is so important. Prepping a bit of food so you know your diet at some point, and then making sure your calendar, your diary is scheduled in so you know the next day I'm ready to go.
Okay, just
hopefully
I'm thinking of it now. Enough. Oh no, yeah, it's good. Just I'm thinking of it now. What would be your go-to quick snack if you had to?
Go-to quick snack. If I'm on the go, it just tends to be like a protein bar or something. It's not the greatest, but it's just it's an easy choice.
Okay, all right. And then, so if is there anything you do like is there anything that you're kind of into in terms of like ice baths, or do you have like no rule? Do you have any like rules, like no blue light before bedtime, or do you do like a little bit of reading every day before bed? Is there anything you do like kind of nighttime rituals that kind of help try to ensure good quality sleep or anything like that, or are you one of those lucky people that can just go to sleep? I'm not one of those
No,
people.
no, not at all. So nighttime, if I'm having to work, I will put on the blue light glasses. You know, just a little things we can do just to help.
You just had them right there, bang, ready to go.
You know, I'm ready. So little things like that. This year I am trying my hardest to have my kind of shutdown routine from my computer. You know, like, I don't know, 6 o'clock. Have time with the kids, and then try my hardest not to then turn the laptop back on. Having time with my wife, having a bit of connection time. A couple of the books that I do kind of read daily and just pick them up is The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Another one of his books is The Daily Dad, and that's because I'm a father of 3 and I want to improve every day. How can I be a better dad? So they're just quick and easy books that I can just pick up and read a couple of paragraphs if I need to in the evening, and that helps me switch off from work and the million things going on in my mind all the time.
Okay, so that leads me quite nice on to sort of say, do you have like your own sort of personal mantra, or is there kind of like a saying or a quote or anything that you kind of that really resonates with you that you try to go, not necessarily live by, but you kind of go, do you know what? I always kind of think of that to give me a little guidance.
Not kind of like a specific kind of mantra or a quote or anything, but every year I choose 3 different words, and I want to live by those 3 words every year. So this year my 3 words are consistency, relentlessness, and discipline. So in all areas of my life, I want to be consistent. I want to be relentless in that approach, whether it's achieving my goals or putting the best APEX event we can put on. I want to be relentless in that. And then discipline, you know, we can all install discipline getting to the gym 5 times a week, turning our phones off at night, charging our phones outside the bedroom, getting those 8 hours of sleep, eating well. Those little things that kind of, so they're my 3 key words for the year, basically.
See, what I love about you, though, is you just trickle in other things. Like you've given us charging your phones outside your bedroom. That's a great one because people don't. And they're so, like, my wife is a nightmare for grabbing her phone and checking it at nighttime, wakes up. Honestly, it's a nightmare, checks it with emails. Okay, final couple of questions for you. So if someone is thinking of doing the Apex Challenge and they're not quite sure, they're sat on the edge of the fence, what advice would you give to them?
Just go for it. It's one of those things where you just have to commit and figure it out later. So once you kind of sign on the dotted line, and once you make that kind of first commitment, you commit to yourself that you're doing it, and then everything else will fall into place and you can plan. If I go back to quickly something else, a GPS. So goals, plan, system. So if your goal is to climb Everest or 9.2 times, that's your goal. We're going to create that goal. We've then got the plan to do it, and then the systems. So what plan, what systems we have to have in place to achieve that. But yeah, I think the main thing is just to commit, and then you'll figure it out as you go.
Love it. I love that. I love that GPS analogy. I'm stealing that one. I'm noting that down. Okay. The final 2 ones, and you know these questions. These are the questions that we ask everyone at the end of our interviews. What does Apex mean to you in 1 word?
1 word is so hard, Tim, but I will. I have to go from the reason why we started this. I guess my word has to be community. It's so important for everything we do at Apex.
Yeah, brilliant. And the last one is, what is your Everest?
I think this is a tough one. I think, like I said to you as we've got on for this call, I've had to overcome a lot of challenges, a lot of kind of personal setbacks. But I think at the moment is like, if I could take the analogy of 2 mountains, there's a self mountain and a service mountain. I've kind of climbed the kind of the self mountain. I've done the hard work. I've been kind of had those setbacks, and now I'm climbing that service mountain where I just want to be of service to as many people as I can. I know that doesn't really answer your question, but I hope that kind of makes sense.
That would be it. Service would be the thing I would say. So listen, Adam, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for jumping on, taking a bit of time out of your day. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely wonderful. So I'll chat to you again soon, my man. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay, guys, listen, that is the last of it. That's not the last of it. There'll be many more installments coming on, but thank you so much for tuning in. And like Adam said, he is now all focusing on service, but maybe now is the opportunity for you to start really focusing on climbing that mountain on self. Maybe you want to have a little think about that this year. Maybe you need to spend this year really focusing on yourself, and maybe you could culminate that with the starting of the hike up Helvellyn Peak. And maybe, who knows, by the end of that 48 hours, you might go through something prolific and you might find yourself by the end of it. It would be amazing to see you all there on the Helvellyn Peak. So please make sure that you like, follow, subscribe to all of our social contents. Make sure you follow on to our YouTube, tick the bell, get the notifications, do all that jazz, and make sure you stay tuned because we'll see you in the next one. So take care, everyone.